and gas visionary here at the Oil and Gas Technology Centre in Aberdeen at the TECH20 event, which focuses on the key tech trends for 2018. We'll be talking to a few of the speakers about factors such as augmented reality, virtual reality and AI, and how this could impact the future of the oil and gas sector. Can you tell me more about immersive technology and how it's changing the way that we work?
Okay, sure. That's a very broad question. So, how is immersive technology changing the way we work? For sure, we're seeing immersive technology at work in education. Things like Google Expeditions, which has been around for 2 or 3 years now in schools, taking students to places like the Great Wall of China that they may be learning about in class. We're seeing it in medicine. We've seen VR and mixed reality in use in military for a number of years. So it's already there, it's already happening. How is it changing? I just think adoption. There's more and more adoption, so it's just becoming more prevalent in how we work.
How can this new technology be utilised in the oil and gas industry?
Okay, so how could immersive tech be used in the oil and gas industry? Well, I have to say candidly, it's not my speciality. I don't have experience in the oil and gas technology industry, but I can look at how some of the technologies have been leveraged in industries that I can draw comparison to, such as space exploration. NASA utilizing reconstructions of Mars to help train potential astronauts who would land on Mars, how to deal with those circumstances, potentially very dangerous and life-threatening scenarios. So I mean, I can draw a semblance to the oil and gas industry.
And that is a brilliant example, I think, because space and the oil and gas, especially subsea, are two hostile environments where you've been able to train in advance before the situation really happened, and building that kind of, we can call it muscle memory if you want, right? So recognizing a situation and be able to quickly react to it, because we have experienced already that situation many times before in a virtual reality, is a potential great advantage on the training side. But the other part of that is, what you talk about today about augmented reality and how to mix virtual reality with the real reality, and therefore bring in additional information or additional expertise at point of need when needed in places where are difficult to reach. So if I need to send an expert to a particular situation and get a person on a helicopter understanding the context, understanding the problem, well, if I can bring that person virtually in an immersive way, bring that person really inside the reality, but from distance, and collaborate with the people that are actually there, able to manipulate the asset in physical terms, well, that's a potential big advantage in terms of speed to response and also in access to a wider world of expertise.
In those sort of scenarios, you could effectively be crowdsourcing expertise and delivering that in real time at the moment of truth that the person needs it. And whether that crowdsourcing of expertise comes from individuals, human beings, or whether that expertise is something else, an artificial intelligence that is trained on many more variables than any one human could ever be, is up for debate. I think it may be a mix of both human being experts and AI experts in future.
And what do you predict for the future of technology? What key trends can you see in 5 to 10 years, and more specifically within the oil and gas industry?
Okay, key trends from my perspective for the future, and this is always putting your neck on the line trying to predict the future. But for sure, the sort of more nascent technologies in virtual, augmented and mixed reality will start to become more commonplace across everything we do, from entertainment through to education, through to at play in difficult, dangerous environments. But I think the biggest thing, the thing that will create the largest exponential change in society in general will be artificial intelligence, and how that artificial intelligence and machine learning becomes part of our day-to-day life, and will hopefully make us more efficient, make the world better able to sustain us as a human race. It's not about killer Android AI robots going around taking over. It's about efficiency and improving what we do.
And I think in the world of oil and gas, it will be probably rapidly change the way we work in the next 5 to 10 years, I believe. We see nowadays how immediate the interaction with artificial intelligence is through the use of Alexa or Google or Siri. It's something that just a few years ago it was all about mediated by the typing and searching and etc. And so that exponential growth which is happening in the everyday life, will somehow transfer to the work environment, and we will be able to interrogate a database or a maintenance system in the same way we now ask for a new song to be played in our living room. And that is going to be so normal that we'll not even talk about that as artificial intelligence, just the way we don't talk about Siri or Alexa as artificial intelligence. We just talk about Siri and Alexa.
Yeah.
What key trends can the oil and gas industry adopt? Which ones are most transferable to this industry?
So I think the two key trends that really strongly impact the oil and gas industry. The first one is mobility and embracing enterprise mobility. And as I was talking in the presentation, it's not just about mobile phones and apps and the phones, it's about how do you create purposeful interactions that are designed for use in the field and in the office. So it's about creating experiences that somebody who's working in an office can enter information, access information very quickly on their phone, which is something we're all used to doing, but extending that experience out across a range of devices suitable for field use. Now, critical with that is the integration of AI that can help accelerate that process. It's very simple stuff, no machine learning or data elements to it, but it's the ability to find the right information and the right device at the right time is hugely important, and it can present enormous productivity benefits as well as health and safety by just making people more efficient, more focused on their job, taking away the device and making the technology transparent with what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think just to add in from our perspective and my understanding of the oil and gas, we're very focused on putting the employer at the center and thinking about how technology can make their life better. And that doesn't matter where they are, if they're offshore, they're in a warehouse, they're in the office. And that, bringing to bear both data and the AI and the mobility. So it's a very important combination.
And what advice would you have for companies that would like to adopt more technology moving forward, but perhaps are a little bit nervous?
Just do it. It's understandable that people are nervous about technology, but the key element is that if you don't try it, you're never going to make any progress. And a lot of people who are non-technical are frightened they're going to break things. And I think this perhaps relates as well to the health and safety culture of oil and gas, is that if you get something wrong, it's catastrophic. Now, the answer in technology is, a lot of the time, if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter so much. You can recover it. So a lot of the stuff that we do is around art of the possible, because a lot of companies and people simply don't know what's possible. So if you don't work in the industry, the digital industry, you don't have those experiences. I think that's something that Oil and Gas Technology Centre really helps with.
Yeah, I think so. And creating the art possible is really important. That's one of the reasons why we have talks like we have today, because it gets people thinking about what are the possibilities and how we can perhaps apply it in my own situation, my own company. I think it is critical. We are a highly regulated industry, and we have a very significant focus on process safety, and that's absolutely correct in the way it should be. Yeah. But it is about, how can you, as I mentioned before, how can we experiment, how can we try and do different things without having a material impact or direct impact on that safety concern. And really, it's what it is. It means not starting from the technology. It means starting from, what are our major risks? What are our major deferments? What are the questions that we need to be answering? And then look at, take that back. What data do we need? What technology can we use? And what technology can display or deliver whatever it is, that information you need? So that's a good starting point. And then I think it's really just someone being brave enough to say, actually, we're not going to do it the same old way. We're actually going to try it a completely different way. And you might start in somewhere that's not related directly to operations, like warehouse operations, for instance. So, that's another way of starting. And that's what you'll see in, like the supermarkets, like Ocado, good example, completely changed the way they do their supply chain for delivering their online supermarket. So, if we were really brave, and we have to be a little bit more brave, is about setting out, well, actually, we're going to do it differently, and then start from there.
Finally, what do you predict for the future of technology? What will be happening in, say, 5 to 10 years' time?
5 to 10 years is an almost impossible time to predict. One thing that I can guarantee is people will still be using spreadsheets, and there will still be security risks. And I think that the divide will become even greater, because what we see at the moment is the well-known quote that the future is already with us, it's just not evenly distributed. So we will see some people who literally have implants that are controlling things like the thought connections. All that stuff exists today in the lab. At the same time, there will be people who are still using paper and notepad.
Yeah.
Not looking at yours in particular.
Yeah, so my view is, so 10 years is probably difficult in the sort of from a digital technology perspective, because it changes too much, or so much and so quickly. I think in 5 years' time we'll see greater use of some of the technologies we talked about today. We will be much more data driven. We will be largely remotely operating all our facilities and assets. So the people offshore will be largely there to maintain rather than to run, which is a slight difference. And you know, I just think we'll just be largely more efficient and be probably using technology in ways we didn't imagine even today.
Yes.
You know, and we will be disrupted from outside the industry. So things will happen in other industries with other technologies that will disrupt us from the side. And you know, we just got to be ready and flexible enough to adapt to those, use those, and apply them in our own context.
Yeah, the only thing that we can be sure about is that the next 5 to 10 years are going to be really exciting.